Guys, I know you've probably seen this trending video of a woman named Susan spewing pure venom at anyone receiving government assistance. She calls them parasites, leeches, and even freeloaders. She goes as far as saying they are biologically inferior and should be forced into military-style barracks with controlled diets and mandatory birth control. But what happens when hate like this gets exposed to the truth? Well, today, guys, I want us to dive deeper, not just into Susan's disturbing rant, but into how propaganda turns struggling people against each other. We'll unpack the racism, the classism, the lies behind the so-called welfare queen myth, and the brutal irony of Susan's own life. Because once you see how the system manipulates people, you're going to realize the real parasite aren't the poor. They are actually the powerful.
Because the good people of the United States are sick of it. They're sick of you freeloaders, good for nothings, because you're just a waste of flesh. And you're just parasites. I don't even want to compare you to animals, because you're worse than that. Animals have a function. Animals are beautiful. You people are just virus, parasitic creatures that should have probably never been born. Anyways, the way I would solve the problem of all you fraudulent little idiots, low IQ, waste of breath, is mandatory drug testing randomly. If you're caught on drugs, you get nothing. No smoking. Nothing that is a luxury or anything that you can live without. You will live in barracks, just like the military. If it's good enough for the military, it's damn well good enough for you. You will get fed what you're given, and you will have no choice in the matter. And it will be all healthy items. No chips, no soda. That way we can cut back on all your medical bills and everything like that for all you obese, just whales, land whales. That's what you are. And, it would be mandatory birth control also. No children. No children while you are on the system. If you can't feed them, you're not going to breed them. And you're so lucky I am not in charge of this, because it would be like the military. And mandatory community service. You would wait on everybody else hand and foot. Whatever needs to be done in the community. That is, a direct function of society. You're going to be of some use. And then that way, poverty will be a thing of the past, pretty much. I mean, there'll still be some people in poverty, but they're going to be the hardworking people that just fall on hard times or whatever. But it isn't going to be this generational, just sponging off of everybody else that's working and that have worked and are, good for society, unlike you. So yeah, you're just parasites, and I think parasites might even be better than what you are. Because the way you're going on and on and on about how you're going to rob people, you're going to kill people, you're going to, cannibalize white crackers. And if I could say the words that I want to say on these platforms, I would. But then I'll get banned, and then I can't voice my opinion. But you people need to get a life. You need to get an IQ, which will never happen. And it's been generational. And the more you breed and breed, the less IQ you have. Because it's just bad IQ, breeding with bad IQ. And it just gets worse and worse as it goes on. So, yeah. You would not like the system that I have in mind. Not at all. So, everybody that's a decent person on the system, more power to you, really. And I feel for you. But most of you, You don't need it. And I know this for a fact because I have family members and neighbors that are on the system, and they do not need it at all. They're just leeches. Just pure leeches. So get a life, people. Get your shit under control. And stop feeding off of the rest of us. You know, and our hard work and our dollars that we put into the system that you never put into the system. So go get a life.
Let's go ahead and wrap this shit up, shall we? This is the second and final part, honey, of Little Miss Charlie's Avengers over here. To catch everyone up to speed, Little Miss Charlie's Avengers, aka Susan, believes that everyone on government assistance are parasites. They're less than human. She thinks we need to bring back a form of slavery for them, put them in concentration camps. When I tell y'all Little Miss Susan, honey, was in straight panic mode yesterday, she must have commented to me about 40 or 50 times, tried to follow me like 5 or 6 times, like, oh, why are you following me? Then she tried to threaten me with the I can do some investigating too. Sweetie, let me help you out. 3-time convicted felon over here, former addict. Turned my life around, honey, did a complete 180, and now I spend my life servicing my community and calling out hateful bitches like you. All one need do, honey, is scroll my videos, as you did, to see that I stand in my truth. Something hateful, venomous maggots like you know absolutely nothing about. Are we good now? Are we all caught up? Good. Now let's focus back on you. So Little Miss Charlie's Avengers tried to say that I had the wrong person. We're not going to do that, Susan. Because see, when you look someone up the way that I did, it's going to show all of your neighbors' names, it's going to show your acquaintances' names, and it's going to show family members' names. And when I go to your Facebook, boom, there's one. So I proceed to look up the rest of those names, and lo and behold, there they all are. Furthermore, sweetie, if it weren't you, you wouldn't have tried to do damage control here. Oh, and by the way, just because you removed the video from your page doesn't mean it no longer exists. Moving right along, I'm sure it'll come as no big surprise to anyone that Susan is also a racist, although she'll tell you she's not because in her words, they are good black. But if you're not racist, Susan, why were you liking all of the racist comments and laughing at them and using racist tropes and dog whistles as you did here? And of course, true to form, like all hateful, venomous maggots do, Susan decided to toss in a lie to back up her bullshit. Susan said that before her dad passed, he tried to go and get welfare, but they told him that he was the wrong color. And when someone asked her, oh, what's the right color? Susan said that they told him he wasn't black. Susan, welfare was created for white people. Pumpkin, there are more white people collecting welfare and government assistance than all races combined.
Well, let's start with the facts, because the truth completely destroys Susan's argument. She claims that welfare recipients are mostly lazy black people who refuse to work. But statistically, it's just false. The majority of people on welfare in America are actually white people. In fact, more white people receive assistance than all other races combined. 70% of people on welfare are kids, seniors, or disabled. Of the remaining adults, 80% actually do work. So no, they are not lazy, they are underpaid. This parasite narrative is nothing new. It's political propaganda born in the 1980s to make white people hate on poor black people, keeping everyone divided and distracted while the rich keep collecting corporate welfare, tax cuts, and even bailouts. In other words, Susan's anger isn't original, it's manufactured. And the people benefiting from that anger are not the ones standing the food stamp line. Now let's talk about the deeper level, the psychology behind this rhetoric. When Susan calls people parasites or leeches, she's not being cruel. She's using the same biological dehumanization that's been used throughout history, comparing the poor, the marginalized, and especially black communities to diseases, pests, and even vermin. It's language designed to strip away empathy. If someone is a parasite, you don't feel bad when they suffer. You don't feel guilty when they're starving, evicted, or even sterilized. This is how hate becomes policy. Her speech even goes further, advocating for people on welfare to live in military-style barracks, be forced into community service, and be denied the right to even have kids. That is not just cruel. That is authoritarianism dressed up as morality. It's the same logic that fueled eugenics, slavery, and concentration camps. The belief that some people are inherently less human and need to be controlled for the greater good. That's the heart of moral inversion, flipping the story so that the oppressed become the villains. Instead of confronting centuries of colonization, exploitation, and inequality, people like Susan flip the mirror, making the poor and particularly Black people seem like the takers, while the real wealth extractors hide behind suits and corporate logos. It's projection, it's manipulation, and it works. Why? Because it feels emotionally satisfying. It gives struggling people someone to, blame. While Susan rants about drug addicts and criminals, on welfare, internet sleuths uncovered that her own partner, Michael, is allegedly a felon with a drug problem. She condemns welfare abuse, yet admits that quite a few of her family members are abusing the system. And the irony doesn't stop here. Susan works as an officer manager for a dentist who accepts Medicaid and Medicare, which means her own income relies on the same system she despises. So when she says people on welfare are leeches, she's describing her own livelihood. And that is the tragedy, behind this story, because Susan isn't some isolated villain. She is a product of a system that teaches people to hate downward instead of looking upward. Instead of asking why are wages so low or why does rent keep rising, she's been taught to ask who's taking my slice. It's the same trick over and over. Pit poor communities against each other, racially, economically, politically, and the people at the top never have to face accountability. So when the real welfare queens, not the single moms trying to feed their kids, not the elderly trying to afford insulin, the real welfare queens are the billionaires getting tax breaks, bailouts, and even subsidies, while lecturing everyone else about hard work. They are the corporations pocketing government checks for failing, upwards. They are the politicians who feed off division while pretending to care about the taxpayers. And the people like Susan, they become the foot soldiers of that system, angry, loud, and even utterly misled. At the end of the day, Susan's rant isn't about morality. It's about misdirected pain. It's about someone so desperate to feel superior that she'd rather hate her own neighbors than challenge her oppressors. And that is exactly how racism and capitalism work together, to keep people destroying themselves while thinking they are better than the other person next door. Because once you look behind the illusion, the whole narrative collapses. The truth is simple. Poverty isn't a moral failure. It's a design. And the sooner we realize that, the sooner we stop fighting each other and start fighting for each other. Yeah, guys, now if you've made this far, make sure to share this video, leave a like as well, and also leave a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And until next time, stay safe.